Hello, hello. This is Christina Barr. You're watching Black Tea News. Hello, hello. Welcome to Black Tea News. I'm your host, Christina Barr, and today we're going to be talking about this Rolling Stone article. I saw the headline before, and I'm like, man, this headline is really ridiculous. Um, and then I didn't realize till Shia, who's the head of Libs of TikTok, because the article was talking about next Benedict, um, and right wing rhetoric and stuff contributing to the death, which isn't true and stuff, or from anything that we know based on evidence. Um, she pointed out that the person who wrote the article is Jeffrey Marsh, and so we've talked about Jeffrey Marsh before, and um, he might be the stuff of nightmares for some of you folks. So I'm going to go ahead and go through that article because there's no evidence levels of TikTok or even right wing rhetoric contributed to the Oklahoma teen's death. But they certainly did take the time to try to make it about him. And Rolling Stone has allowed him to write things before. So we're going to go ahead and look at that article. Also, my sister shared with me this story about these guys who were in the same band, and one guy, I guess one of the other guy's girlfriend. So he started poisoning him with estrogen so he would become more manly. And what a wacky story. So we'll be talking about that as well. And Trump did decide to go to the border, and Biden went to the border as well, which um I don't understand. I don't understand why he won't pivot, and it could cost him the election. But there's something that Trump said while he was like doing an interview with Hannity on the subject of abortion that some people are, back at it, upset at Trump again. So um, I don't think that's maybe going to. I don't understand Trump's line of thinking with this topic. Yesterday we had a conversation about how uh, the border is so dire that even if you're uncomfortable with Trump on a lot of things, it still makes sense to go ahead and support him if this is the thing and he's going to solve it. But he could at least do some things to not make himself unattractive to his base, so they go out and still support him full throttle. So we'll talk about those things certainly. But before we hop to it, I want to encourage you guys to go to blacktnews.com, check out different content on my website, articles, videos, etc. If you like what I do here, please consider leaving a donation at blacktnews.com/donate, because it does cost to stream and run my website, all that good stuff. So you guys can support, appreciate it. If you're watching on Facebook, you guys can send stars. If you're watching on YouTube, you guys can send super chats. Or if you're watching back later, you guys can send super thanks. You guys can check out different merch we have available at the shop. Like, I'm not the victim you're looking for. That shirt's pretty cool. Also got this "Announce White Supremacy Defeat Joe Biden" shirt with a list of some of his racism on the back. So I also have that in a long sleeve form, but I guess we're heading into warmer times, so I want to get the short sleeve. But I have the long one sleeve shirt, and it's not too heavy, and it's still pretty comfortable. So I recommend that you guys get that. Tonight our church is starting our weekend anniversary. So we have like a special service tonight, and tomorrow night we're having a gala. And so people will be dressed nice, there'll be food, there'll be music, there'll be comedy. And one thing that we're doing is we're raising money for our life drive. And so we are raising money for in the summer we have this life drive where we donate a bunch of stuff to a pregnancy crisis center. So some of the proceeds will be going to that. And so if you live in the Michigan area, or you're somewhere relative to like Rochester Hills kind of area, you guys are more than welcome to come. I posted the information on my Instagram, on my Facebook, and on my YouTube, like on the community section. So if you guys want the details, you guys can go find them there. Um, if you want to buy a ticket, and if you can't buy a ticket, well, if you can't come, but you still like to support, you guys can also just do a donation. So there's a link to ticket and there's links to donations and stuff. So on the site and stuff, but I on the Facebook and YouTube and stuff, there's the links will be there. So you guys can go ahead and do that if you'd like to support in that way. So I just wanted to mention that. And if you can, it'd be cool to see you in person. And I hope I will mostly be okay when I sing tomorrow. Just to still have a bit of a tickle, and hopefully, I won't be coughing or anything as we go through this. But um, and I sang a song on TikTok the other day, and it was like a really um vocally challenging kind of song. So I feel like I can't go to the gala tomorrow and not do songs. I'm not singing a new song. All the songs I've sung before and sung in church. So if I can't pull off those songs I usually do after like it's performing this really kind of hard song on TikTok, it's just gonna people are gonna be looking at like Christina, what is wrong? So I'm just hoping all goes well. But it should be a good time. So I encourage you guys to come out if you can, and it's for a good cause. So good stuff, good stuff. Anyway, I don't really have a funny thing for you guys to start with, so we're just gonna jump into this story. So there's been so many articles and so on about Dagny Benedict from Oklahoma, and people say that she went by Nex, and people say that she was non-binary and went by they/them, and there were so many headlines about they/them, and they were pushing that so mad. And I do a video or something, and I say some people are like, it's they and them, they and them, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh no, it's not they them, it's he him. Their friends have said that he actually likes he him, and so that switched really quick. And so there's going to be he him pronouns in this article that this person wrote, Jeffrey Marsh. And so anyway, I saw this article pop up, and this is when we knew some details about it, I think, when this article was posted. And I saw the headline, I'm like, they're still going at this, claiming that Libs of TikTok is responsible for this rhetoric and so on. And then I found out, and I didn't find out, I guess Libs of TikTok kind of revealed it, or pointed it out rather, that Jeffrey Marsh wrote it. And if you're not familiar with Jeffrey Marsh has a big following on TikTok, and he's a bit of a creepy looking dude. And I first saw his videos popping up because he was addressing kids. He'd hi kids, or he'd tell the adults to give them the phone or whatever. Like, this is for you, this is for the kids. And I didn't like all his messages and stuff that he would be having for kids and stuff. So people started to get upset. There was a big kind of explosion on Twitter after he made a Patreon, because people are like, why are you trying to get kids to go to your Patreon? And he's like, and people are like, no, his stuff isn't for kids, his stuff is for adults. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know about the Patreon, but he does definitely address kids, and there are ways for kids to get around to be able to do stuff on Patreon. So people were like doing deep dives into Jeffrey Marsh, and I'm like, if people are calling him accusing him of doing criminal sort of activities and having proclivities, I guess, toward kiddos. Now, I wouldn't say things like that, because that's a heck of a thing to accuse somebody without evidence. But I do think obviously his content is wrong and dangerous. So I would point that out, and the people would still be mad at me for pointing it out. And I'm like, you don't agree with the sort of things that he says. When he says sex isn't real and there's no such thing as boys and girls, you don't believe that. So why are you okay with him telling that to kids? Addressing it specifically for kids. You're not okay with that. And I'm not going to pretend that it's okay for him to say that. So, so yes, Jeffrey Marsh was harshly attacked online. And I wish he he's not responsible if kids watch his content. I think parents should really need to be looking at what their kids are watching, really monitor when they have phones, and if they have phones, monitor them, etc. He's not responsible if kids watch his stuff, but he is responsible for the content he puts out. And his aesthetic, his everything about him, I don't think is appealing to older people. You know, he's like a creepy Mr. Rogers. So that just teaches you all these lessons to rot your brain. But let me pull up some examples to scar you for life before I show you what he actually said about libs of TikTok. So here's one. Oh, didn't download. Hold on. Hold on. Why didn't it? I had thought, I'm sorry, I thought it had downloaded when I had all these in my phone, and I moved them to my drive to email them to myself, and I downloaded, and now I don't know why it's not exactly popping up, or maybe it's not popping up because I already had downloaded it before. Maybe. Let me show this video of him actually talking about libs of TikTok, and then I will play the other ones since I have that one pulled up. So this is one of the videos that he posted about next Benedict. He lives at TikTok.
The woman who runs the bullying internet account Libs of TikTok was given a spot on the Oklahoma Library Board, the statewide board. She is not from Oklahoma. The reason I bring this up is because these gestures, these far-right attacks, these elevations of anti-trans folks have deadly consequences. I'm sure you've heard by now the story of the non-binary student in that state who was bullied to death. Please hug a non-binary person today. Please find a non-binary person and show them respect. Show them kindness. Please find your sister's kid, your coworker's cousin who is trans and non-binary, and be love, be compassion to them. Thank you.
So is it, I don't know how you find a non-binary kid. Is it like searching for a leprechaun or something? Because that's not a thing. But libs of TikTok, and I've said this before and I'll say it again in case you guys are unaware, libs of TikTok, quite literally. Now she'll say her commentary, whatever, and she, and you cannot like her commentary, and I don't always like her commentary, to be frank, but she got famous. Her page blew up because she would go on TikTok, find dudes like Jeffrey Marsh, and just post their content on Twitter. And then people who aren't on TikTok, because a lot of people aren't on TikTok. There's older people, like at first it was swaying pretty young and stuff, but all kinds of people are on TikTok now. But there's some people who don't want to be on it at all. And sometimes people are like, why are you on TikTok? Because I am. Everybody's, so many people are there. Okay. But some people don't go on TikTok. So they just made it aware that all this kind of crazy stuff was going on in Twitter, in other places where people see it. She used to have an Instagram. I don't know if she still has an Instagram, but I think Instagram probably got shut down and other stuff. But she still posts on Twitter. The old regime of Twitter tried to get rid and silence libs of TikTok a lot, and so she has freedom now that Elon Musk runs the page and stuff. But she would literally just repost these people. That's what she would do. People like Jeffrey Marsh and other folks, okay? And that was bullying enough for them to just, have a mirror or have a flashlight and be like, look at the person over here who's saying things. That's what Libs of TikTok does. Um, Now, should she be on their library board and she doesn't live in the state? Probably not. I don't know. Um, but people blaming her for this death when she's not responsible, how do they think her posting, just reposting their content is bullying, but them not blaming a child being beaten to death on her is not bullying? And so I really didn't appreciate him saying these things, bringing up these accusations. Again, a lot of people were saying stuff about Jeffrey, that he, was a predator and all kinds of different stuff with the kids. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say things I don't know that are like criminal with this guy. I do think he's a creep and he lies, and I think he's dangerous in that kind of sense. But I'm like, I'm not gonna go that far. And I would say that to people, like, I'm not gonna say that. And other people are like, I'll say it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna say that. So I know he got that from people, but I didn't make those accusations. So here he is blaming someone that he doesn't like of being responsible for someone being beaten to death. Now, from what we know, from the things that Dagny has said herself, when she was on the body cam talking to the police, what happened was that there were some girls who were younger than her, by the way, who were, making fun of her clothes. And you can say, well, they're making fun of her clothes because she was non-conforming or whatever. She dressed like any goth kid kind of that I would have seen when I was in school. She had on a black baggy shirt and like black baggy pants, and her hair was short and stuff. I could think of specific kids in my head that she looked like, not like exactly or whatever, but just kind of her style was reminiscent of that. So if you don't think kids tease each other about what they wear, you're crazy. I'm not saying it's nice. No. But that's kids, man. That's kids. There's a story. I'm gonna go ahead and tell. There was this blue like jumpsuit, like velvet jumpsuit. If my sisters are watching, they're probably already laughing. That I had on, that I liked to wear. It was comfortable. It wasn't like super cute or whatever. It was comfortable, whatever. And I would wear that to school. And so one day it was like after school, and I had some chips. It was like some Lay's potato chips. I saw my younger sisters. I was like, hey guys, my sisters in the comments already laughing. LOL. Telling the story. She's not the sister that I'm referring to. So I was picking up the bag of like Lay's potato chips, like, hey guys, you want some chips? And the bottom of the bag somehow had opened up. And so the chips spilled out. And then people, I don't even know if anybody laughed or whatever. My sisters were so embarrassed when they talk about it. They laugh and they're just like loser, kind of moment. And we brought this up recently actually. And my older sister Katrina, who's laughing in the comments right now, we're just like, why were you guys so bothered by that? I was trying to do something nice. And like, yeah, but she was in that blue jumpsuit and she was flooding. So, and now you guys are laughing at me in the comments. So anyway, kids teasing each other about what they wear, it's just so common, and you're not going to stop it. You're not going to stop it. If you mixed brands like in Pontiac and stuff, people would tease you. People tease you for all sorts of things. So making fun of your clothes, that's not the same as making fun of you because you're non-binary. She didn't say that to the police officers with these girls with this case, who she apparently also did not know before this incident. So then after they were stacking the chairs, I guess they were saying the things about her clothes or whatever, she said they went to the bathroom and she was with her friends, and the girls with her friends. It kind of sounds like they both had different posses. And Nex had her water bottle, which she did fill, it looked like, before she went inside the bathroom. And the girls were laughing at Nex and her friends as for their, they were making fun of their laugh or whatever. And so then Nex decided to splash the water on the girls, and then the girls attacked. So when I was in middle school, I mean, people would fight over whatever, but um, they had this whole like thing they tried to teach us with like peer mediation. And if you insulted someone, they'd make you say like three compliments or whatever, and and people they'd be like, "Man, I like your shoes. I like your shirt. I like your hat," or something like that. Not like real compliments. So I don't know how effective it was, but we had this camp that we went to like for peer mediation and stuff, and we did these exercises. Basically, ignore when people would say just negative things about you, because they are words, but you know, but if someone goes and does something physical, like splash some water on you, I would consider that to be like someone slapping you with a glove back in the day. It's not like I'm man enough to go ahead and just punch you in your face and instigate the fight in that way. But I want you to know that maybe I'm a punk, but I think you're a punk, you know? And so there is not a scenario probably on the planet, if I was unless it was a leading of the Holy Spirit that was like, don't do that. Where if somebody splashed water on me, that I would have just let that go personally. Now I wouldn't have jumped on somebody, but because all the three girls attacked, I would have been like, I don't need help. Um, but she did instigate the fight, and so when she told the police officer what happened, because her grandmother, who's her guardian, wanted to um get the police, prosecute those girls and stuff. And he's like, we can do that, but she just admitted that she started the fight. So if you do that, we're gonna have to likely, come after you too. um so they from the conversation, it looked like they opted not to do that after he convinced them not to. And he's like, we could do it, but he did convince them not to do it. It's seemingly for their benefit, because she did throw the water on them, and it's a good fight. That's just how it happened. So nothing that I explained to you and nothing that she explained to the police officer what was an explanation of they came after me because I'm non-binary. She said, I don't know these girls. These girls were fresh. She's a sophomore, so she was the older, more mature one, allegedly. And these girls were freshmen who made fun of her laugh and her clothes. And we know that information. And people are still pushing this narrative that it's right wing rhetoric that has contributed to these things. Now, that video with Marsh that I showed you guys, that came out before the body cam footage. Um, but there was, I think, the text messages and stuff were out, and we didn't have evidence. We did have evidence that libs of TikTok or right wing rhetoric or anything influence these girls to commit clapback, I guess, this fight, which Dagny instigated. Now it is tragic that she is gone, but we also don't know why. We don't know the cause of death. We know that they had an autopsy. It's not complete because they're waiting for the toxicology report. We're not. People are saying, "Oh, it's not cause of the fight." I don't know if something wasn't exaggerated because of the fight. Like, but maybe it was it trauma to the head, but maybe, I don't know, something else exacerbated in cardiac arrest. I don't know, but you don't know either, and these people don't know. Nobody knows. We're still waiting. So it could be different drugs where she was on. It could be like a reaction with those drugs mixed in what they gave her at the hospital. Maybe the hospital's liable for something. Maybe they'll go back and charge these girls. I don't know, but the thing is that they don't know, but they really, 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 really want um, this child. I mean, the right wing to be responsible for this child's death. and they want that because they want Chaya kicked off the library board, which I can kind of understand because she's not from that state, okay? But they want the this somebody to reside, somebody else to reside. They want laws, bathroom bills, and all sorts of things rolled back, and they're gonna want to use this story for other things across the country. When you're like, when other people try to pass bathroom bills or whatever, or say this person can't play on the sports team, they're gonna be like, remember what happened to Next. They really, really want this person to be a martyr. But what's interesting in this article about Jeffrey Marsh is that Dagny isn't much of a martyr in this article. Um, it's very much about him. It is very much about him, and I'm not really surprised uh, about that. I guess he seems like a major narcissist here, but my video's not popping up of Marsh. I'll have to edit them in when I repost this video. Let me see if I can at least play it from my Google Drive and share my Google Drive page. Oh, it keeps crashing. So I have probably too many browsers and stuff up. So yeah, I'll have to recut this later and add those things in there. But Marsh is an interesting guy. I've posted videos about Marsh in the past. Let me pull up one where he's mixed in here with Dylan. What did I say here? Just so you have some kind of idea of some of the content that he had. Now this will be adding some of my commentary, but I just kind of want you to see a little bit. Have you heard that? Sorry about that. Give me 1 second. I shared the wrong page, kind of popped up. Here we go. Have you heard the news?
You can think it's unfair. You can feel like we're stealing something from you. But it's still only going in one direction. You will respect us.
I am also very nervous for you just because hopefully soon transphobia won't be as tolerated online, but your tweets are forever and I don't want those to come back and haunt you.
These men expect you to shut up, smile, nod your head, or else.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
But I encourage you to tell them that no means no, and just because they put misogyny in a dress doesn't make it cute. Oh, I didn't remember that TikTok, but yeah. So Jeffrey Marsh is, he's had the videos like, you will respect us. He's had videos where he's like, if your family doesn't want you, I'll take you, or something like that. And he's like, your parents screwed up. It's okay to say so. That's why I made a Patreon. And that's the video that really got him in a lot of hot water with people. But he's still here. He's still here making creepy kind of content for folks and accusing folks of being responsible for children's deaths. So anyway, let's jump to the actual article. This is from Rolling Stone. And we'll go ahead and just read from my phone. Trans hate is big business. Kids like Next Benedict are dying as a result. I have been thinking a lot about Next Benedict, a 16-year-old transgender student who died on February 8th, a day after allegedly being assaulted in the restroom at Owasso High School in Oklahoma. Although Nex's death is still being investigated, his grandmother has said he had been bullied, and again, this is a young woman. I'm just reading the article, but in the past for his identity, though early reporting identified him as gender non-binary. His close friends have since told NBC News that he identified as a trans and preferred he/him pronouns. Which, by the way, another thing in the body cam footage is through the whole conversation they were referring to Nex as Dagny, which is her name, and they used she/her pronouns, and nobody said a peep as if that was something that was wrong. And when her family did a GoFundMe for her, I guess, funeral and other things like that. They had she, her pronouns and stuff in there, and people bullied and I guess harassed her family to the point where they issued an apology and saying, please don't bully us like she was bullied or them was bullied. So, and then they switched to they, them, and now everyone's like, no, it was actually he, him. So the story is wild. There's so many people want this girl to be so many things for them. And it's silly. It's silly. Though early reporting identified him as a gender non-binary, his close, yeah, I already said that. His death has also drawn scrutiny to far-right influencers like Chaya Raychick. I loved how he said that as if he wasn't one of the people who came out and decided to criticize her for no reason, who runs the vehemently anti-LGBTQ account Libs of TikTok and was recently appointed to the state library board in Nex's home state of Oklahoma. Benedict's death prompted a city council member in Oklahoma to accuse Rychick and the school board of having blood on their hands. On social media, Rychick has repeatedly denied fueling a culture of anti-LGBTQ hate and violence. In light of Nex's death, I've been considering how a culture of online hate and conservative influencer culture contribute to a denigration of the safety of people like Nex and myself. As a public and out creator for the past many years on Vine, then Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, I have had a front row seat for the evolving story of how online bullying culture contributes to offline violence against trans people. I have seen how my own personal life has been upended because of baseless accusations from conservative influencers. Again, he did face accusations that maybe some of them, you can clearly see why this guy is creepy and why people are concerned. But he's throwing baseless accusations, so it's like pop me the kettle, man. I am non-binary, and I have always been gender nonconforming. As a kid, I faced violence every day at school. As a young person, I remember how I wished my father could beat the queer out of me so that then I would be lovable. I also remember a deep feeling that no place was safe for me. I have a vivid memory of one day in middle school, I was tripped and called a slur in our school bathroom. I hit the tile floor hard. I recall going down first onto my right kneecap. It stung and throbbed. My soul stung as well. I felt a hollowness in my chest, a deep loneliness. I sensed someone else was in the bathroom, and I looked up, searched the room for help. I locked eyes with my English teacher, who was standing at the sink. He was laughing at the scene in front of him. The hollowed out feeling in my chest grew a little as I felt the weight of the shameful thought that the bullying was all my fault. I have devoted my life and activism to making sure no one receives the treatment I did as a kid. I am well known on TikTok, and I have been out, which I understand, which this awful getting bullying and stuff like that is awful, but the sort of demands that he makes from like that video I just showed you guys, like you will respect us, and there's a collection of people who just are making these demands of the public to accept them and treat them and refer to them and buy into their identities. It doesn't make things easy for women, who want their own spaces, etc. There was a story, I guess if I thought about it, I would have talked about it this week. As to like prep it, I had thought about it and heard about it, but there was a woman who maybe Libs of TikTok interviewed them, but or reported on it. There was a woman in a prison, and so she was sharing a cell with someone who had sexually assaulted his daughter, and but he says he's a woman, and the inmate doesn't want to share a prison cell with him, especially when she can hear him, like doing stuff to himself. And then when she complained, they placed her in solitary confinement. So this idea that we have to go along with your delusions, it makes life harder for women and other people. And no one should harass you and harm you, do physical harm and stuff like that. But you've taken it to another extreme where you expect everyone to you expect to bully everyone into submission of your lifestyle now. So and drive wedges between parents and children and other kind of things like that. So I'm not fond of this dude here. Um and that's why a lot of people come at him. I am well known on TikTok, and I've been out a non-binary public figure for more than 10 years. I have 2 best-selling books, and the second of which was named Best Book of the Month by Apple Books. In my most viral video, I garnered over 30 million views. I simply said, I can predict the future, and you're going to be okay. I hope to impart comfort and a deep sense of belonging and relief to anyone who was ever told there is something wrong with them. By embracing my queerness, I hope to teach that whatever a person is told to hide can be their gateway to freedom and their greatest contribution to the world. Through this viral message of kindness, I became the first non-binary person to be interviewed on national TV in 2016. Almost every right-wing influencer has targeted me. After one particularly cruel post from Libs of TikTok, I received a torrent of abhorrent social media mentions. One woman stitched my video and showed herself listening to me while she loaded a gun. That video received over 300,000 views before TikTok took the video down. I consistently receive death threats, and they are always more intense and more frequent after Ray Chick posts about me on Libs of TikTok. It all accumulated last year when the police came to my home to search for a bomb. All this stems from my dual mission to help everyone hate themselves less and accept trans people more. Now, videos like that, what he described, shouldn't be posted. But again, libs of TikTok, what libs of TikTok does is they repost, and I don't mean like the video I saw. You saw me chop up a couple, like a snippet of Jeffrey's video and like other stuff, who identified as trans. Libs of TikTok will post a full video with all the context there that these people post themselves. She just will introduce basically that video to a different audience. That is what Libs of TikTok does. So she's not responsible for all these people who come and do death threats and all those sorts of things, which don't you think in return you guys are pushing weirdos to do the same to her? Especially when you accuse people of being responsible for murder. Under the Desk News, that was the first person I saw who really blew up this story. And I've already talked about Under the Desk News, but at one point, Under the Desk News was upset because the reports were out that the cause of death wasn't from trauma, and like, we're not doing this, and this isn't true. And at the end of the video, she said, she's like, I don't want to dox anyone, but if anyone knows those girls, please report them to the police. So she has over 3 million followers and told them to report the girls from the bathroom who were freshmen and younger than X, who didn't instigate the fight. They did fight though, and apparently whooped her. Of searching these girls out and reporting them to the police, which I would assume the police probably know who they are. But how can you accuse, because she first accused Libs of TikTok of being responsible, if you don't know who these girls are, then how do you know they're influenced by Libs of TikTok? And of course I know that she doesn't know that they were influenced by Libs of TikTok or conservative right-wing rhetoric or whatever. But those are the sorts of things that they were saying. And so once you start putting that, we'll let that genie out of the bottle, it's kind of hard to put it back in, especially on TikTok and even Twitter and other places like that. And then other news outlets and other advocacy LGBT stuff started multiplying that rhetoric. And all those people are never going to learn the truth and don't want to know the truth and accept the truth of what happened. So you can't just be one side with, we want to keep people safe, we want to be fair, we want to do the right thing, but You only want to do it to serve your bias. And I know people do that on both sides, but um it's not right. If you really think Libs of TikTok is the villain, which she's not responsible for this, but if you're willing to call her the villain, how are you any worse than what you think that she does? How are you any worse? Anyway, this is a clear connection between online bullying and offline threats. According to a recent study by the National Institute of Health, LGBTQ youth are more likely to experience anonymous forms of bullying, and cyberbullying they face is often an extension of offline bullying. But it's only recently that I have come to realize that for some accounts, cyberbullying is big business. With every transition person Rycheck targets, her online following increases. Her current following on X is over 2.5 million, and she speaks at conservative events including CPAC in 2003, giving her immense credibility on the right. When she posts about me, I receive violent death threats while her popularity grows. But it doesn't stop there. Right-wing creators feed off each other in a crushing hate pipeline that churns trans danger into dollars. And they are doing the same thing with Next, with Dagny. They're doing the same thing. But again, Libs of TikTok literally reposts their own videos that they put on social media. You do not have to film yourself crying in your car after someone at Starbucks misgendered you. You don't have to do that. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to make like a 2-5 minute video, whatever it is, post it on TikTok. But you want that affirmation from people who think like you, people who in your algorithm, etc. You want that affirmation. You want that praise. So you consider it kind of like your online kind of diary or something. So when people respond and you get the response that you want, like, yes, queen, they're so, or yes, sir, or whatever, and those people are so mean, you're so great, just be yourself, etc. Blah blah blah. And somebody else is like, dude, grow up. Grow up. You're not a they, them. It's not a big deal. Go do your job. Stop crying at people's lattes. And you get a bunch of responses like that, or people laugh, or whatever. Like, you can't just always put yourself out there and just expect people to be all happy, joy, etc. When I put out an opinion or something, I expect people will respond back. And I usually try like to respond, especially if it's we're doing writing or whatever. I don't always get into long like back and forth when people want to stitch something on TikTok or whatever. But like I going back and forth with this ethics professor about abortion in the past couple days, which we got to it again a little bit, and he keeps posting like screenshots of people like referencing his book, like, oh, so glad that it was free online. I'm like, you don't have to keep pimping your book. I read the whole thing. So I'm waiting for him to respond. I'll still see if he'll respond or whatever. But anyway, people aren't always going to like what you have to say. But if you're going to put it out there on TikTok, it's not like it's your personal Facebook page where you have some things that are private or public a little bit. But even if you put some things that are public, it's on your Facebook page. People think of that a little bit different than you going and putting stuff on YouTube, or you putting stuff on TikTok. And even on TikTok, you can share things with only your friends. So if you put public videos out there on TikTok and you're mad that they let you know where they got it from. Their name is Libs of TikTok. If that is what's so evil, just to say, look at what these people posted on their socials. The issue is that someone, you thought you were, I don't know, you were affirmed in your little ideological bubble, and then all of a sudden the real world came in and popped it. And like people who are doing threats and all kinds of different things, I don't condone that, but they'll say it's hateful just if someone uses the wrong pronoun that you don't like. They'll say that's hateful. They'll say, Jeffrey, you shouldn't be addressing these kids. That's weird. It's hateful. they'll say, stop telling these kids that boys and girls aren't real is hateful. So there's no reason to hate this woman like they hate this woman. I know she's inconvenient for them, but it's not like it's propaganda. Like some of this like Israel Palestine propaganda that you'll find on Twitter or something. People are like, look at what happened when they attacked them, and it's like this is a woman from a different country in a different year. Like there's some real propaganda that goes fast online. Libs of TikTok just literally will repost what they just say. Anyway, but it doesn't stop there. Right wing creator. Oh, I already read that. First, Libs of TikTok post about me, then Matt Walsh, then PragerU, and other online outlets. Yeah, because we all kind of follow each other. One of them posted, then we see it, it's in our feed, and then we're like, oh, I want to talk about that too. That's kind of how it works. A lot of videos that I would get when I would invite people on, when I did my TikTok react show, I would just go to Libs of TikTok feed, to be frank with you. I'd find stuff on TikTok myself, but a lot of times I would like, oh, look, I need some more videos. Let me, because we look at like 10 or so. So I would go to Libs of TikTok page. Yep, I sure would. Not a crime. And finally, if you are very unlucky, I was in 2020, Fox News will pick up your story. Tucker Carlson played my TikTok on air. I needed to take out numerous steps to conceal my identity and whereabouts on and offline. I could not sleep for many days, nor leave my home. My husband was supportive, but he's also worried about my mental health as he attempted to support me through a truly difficult time. I didn't realize he was married. These outlets consistently stoked fear and prod their followers into subscribing and clicking on ads and buying their books and sending them donations. Conservative influencers endanger trans lives as their business model. NBC News recently reported that since November 2020, there have been 21 bomb threats at schools, hospitals, and other institutions shortly after one Libs of TikTok post. And that I don't think that's accurate though. But Reichert denies that she has anything to do with these threats, saying in a tweet about the NBC News story, this bomb threat narrative is really getting old. The violence that leads to the deaths of trans and non-binary children like next Benedict happens while influencers like Reichert cash checks. The business of this, mind you, this dude has a Patreon. The business of trans hatred has affected me in my mission, and of course, online conservative discourse contributes to trans people's dehumanization, in which turn spurs violence against us. I can't help but wonder if Next would still be here, vibrant and alive, if conservative influencers didn't paint a target on our backs with each attempt to gain more clicks. So, that last paragraph mentioned Next, and there was a little bit at the beginning, but yeah, most of that article was about him and his experience. And tying it to Next makes it relevant so he could talk about himself and wine. But we know that Next was not killed because of conservative right-wing rhetoric. Or if that's the case, that evidence still has yet to present itself. But there's no point in tying Next to his life story. He just wanted to talk about himself. So what a wacky dude. What a wacky dude. And again, the article is trans hate is big business. Kids like next Benedict are dying as a result. There is like a model, I guess you could say, with like right wing stuff and reaction stuff. I mean, one reason why, there's hot topics, people, you get paid with ads and clicks and watch hours and stuff, like, oh, everyone's talking about Taylor Swift. I'm going to talk about Taylor Swift. She's very popular and everyone's talking about this thing. Oh, Super Bowl, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Taylor Swift. Yeah. It goes on kind of like that. So there's a truth to that. But there is a real issue here with all these people coalescing and just kind of transforming themselves in this before TikTok, I guess, Tumblr, and it just they get together and they'll affirm themselves and cultivate, you know, and then they, I don't know, end up again at the Starbucks parking lot because someone wouldn't say their name right. There was one video I saw where someone was just so upset, and they were non-binary, I guess, and then someone who's a lesbian just would not have it. They would not bother using their pronouns. They were so mad because their boss took the side of the lesbian. And the lesbian was just like, it seemed like they were Gen X or something. You're just kind of like, get over it. Like, I'm not going to play that game with you. And you are not that special. Other people had to deal with stuff, and still go and do their job. You can not cry in people's lattes. And she's just like stomping the parking lot. And that's the kind of stuff people put on TikTok and be upset when they go super viral or something. And there's other things. There's things that are more heinous. And there's things that are far more ridiculous than that. But again, that's just what she reposts. And it goes viral, or things go viral because they're interesting, I guess. And if they're interesting, people want to talk about it, and then people talk about it, and it gets more traction and stuff. A lot of you have found me because I talked about what's his name, Dylan Mulvaney. That's how a lot of you found me. Many of you, well, maybe probably not you watching right now, but many people clicked that subscribe button not knowing I was a conservative who was going to talk about pro-life issues and other things like that. And so, but many people still, kept on, and they just debate those issues with me, I guess. But which I appreciate. But anyway, let's move on. I want to talk about the story that my sister sent me. Really quick. We're probably not gonna get to this Trump thing. Well, I'll just quickly say, while I pull this article up, that Trump went to the border, Biden went to the border, Biden went to an area of the border where things aren't really popping off, where there isn't so much of a need. And Trump, on the other hand, went to Eagle Pass, where, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. And Biden is really screwed with this issue. Most Americans are in line with Trump on this. It's a winning issue for Trump. It truly is. And it's something that is so dire right now that even if you're on the fence about Trump, even if you don't really want to vote for him, it's a very compelling reason to go ahead and pull that lever anyway. But there is a clip from his interview that he had with Hannity that is circulating around that people are very frustrated with today. And it's in regard to a pro-life issue, which she said had said sentiments like this before. And I just have a short clip on here that is circulating around, and it got cut off. But I'm just going to show you what people are upset about.
But largely, they're coming in with a certain number of weeks, and the number 15 is mentioned. I haven't agreed to any number. I'm going to see. We want to take an issue that was very polarizing and get it settled and solved so everybody can be happy. But I will.
So people are saying, don't ever tell me that Trump is pro-life. He wants to federalize abortion. And some people are like, no, he ended Roe v. Wade and he overturned it. Like, well, if he overturned it, what did his opinion say? He played a role in he got to select 3 justices, that all voted to overturn it. That's great. The Federalist Society did pick those justices. You assume most people who probably been elected would hopefully have picked good selections from that list. And it was just kind of coming to a head. It wasn't a good ruling in the first place. So I'm sure if we did have a liberal court, they would have really, really, really found a way to stretch and keep abortion intact. But McConnell also very helpful in getting that done. If they wouldn't have held the line in 2016, you might see not Gorsuch. Who's our AG right now? Garland on the court. That's who Obama selected, and they were like, "Nah, we're not gonna bother. See, we're not gonna see him." And man, people were mad, and people were like, "Well, Republicans are dumb because this is a huge gamble. This is a huge gamble, and Hillary could win, and Hillary's probably gonna pick Obama to be on the Supreme Court." And she lost, and it was miraculous and amazing. And then we got Gorsuch, who was really, really good. But now that it's over and we've seen some losses, Trump was quick to point the finger at the pro-life movement, and because he didn't want no smoke for some of his picks that weren't so great, so he did point in that direction, and it is a contentious issue. But to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna solve it. We're gonna pick some weeks and make a deal. And his thing is, I want to make a deal. I want to be the person who's remembered for making a deal. Democrats will not make a deal on this issue, unless it's a good deal for them. Now, Trump, we don't know. He's saying, I don't know. I haven't said a week. Okay. But you have said that 6 weeks is horrible. So it's going to be more than 6. It could be 15. It could be 21. There's like past stuff, I think, with him saying stuff about 21 some time ago. But once you get to those kind of numbers, like even he's basically talking about allowing like 90% of abortions. If you get to like 21, you're talking about like 99% of abortions to basically take place. So that would be a big win for the Democrats. So at that point, let's say it was 15 weeks, but in just like a bunch of exceptions, that was like health, life of the mother, incest, rape, but health is still like mental health, financial health, things that were decided in, I think, Doe, we're defining kind of like Doe and stuff. So if those things are like considered or worked in, they're not going to make a deal with Trump unless they can basically still see some kind of point where they could still basically allow abortions up to the time of birth but they don't. They're like, no, that doesn't happen. Okay, allow for the abortion of viable, healthy fetuses. It happens. So Trump will pivot, would say, well, we need to do something because they're killing these babies, and these in the third trimester, at the moment of birth, they'll have a rhetoric like that. But I think they're still human prior to that, and need of protection prior to that. And if your thinking is that we got to take a win where we could take a win, and we can only save maybe about, I don't know, somewhere between 5 to 10,000 babies. If you think the Democrats are monsters because they're willing to have basically all that number of the million to be up for grabs, like we'll abort like about 1 million a year, and you were like, no, we need to protect 990,000 instead of the million. I don't. Are you really that less monstrous if that's your position? So if he doesn't want to talk about the issue and he doesn't want it to be a thing, he could just say the states are deciding, and he could just say, things are contentious. I want to do what's best as far as life affirming for women and for children, and kind of let it be that, and see how things play out, and pretend like you want to have it like in a federalist kind of way. I don't think that's a good answer, because slavery is a states' rights issue too, I guess. I didn't say it should be a states' rights issue. I know other people said that and still say it, but that wasn't my issue. That wasn't what I said. Been honest about that for a minute, but I guess what I would really, really want someone to do is to say, well, right now, so we're definitely not going to federalize abortion Um, if the opportunity came to affirm life, I would do what I can to affirm life, but you could be realistic and say the numbers aren't there. Um, so it's not something Americans, if they really want abortion gone, I guess they could really genuinely be worried about. However, if a ballot proposal comes across you in the mail or whatever, you go to the polls asking you, should it be a right to end the life of a living human being who's preborn, and you decide that to be so, you are responsible, partly responsible for that life. And if that's something that you can live with, God rest your soul. But that's nothing to take lightly. And that is on you. And I would reference the scenario that I brought up before. If someone came up to you with a clipboard and said, I would like to, well, I'll personalize that. I'll change a little bit. Let's say someone came up to you with a clipboard and said, I would really like to be able to kill my neighbor, but it's illegal to do that. So I would like people to sign this petition. So you don't have to do it. I just need you to take away the right to life to this person so I can do it. Would you say that's crazy? You need to go to jail. um, or would you reason, well, I'm not doing it. So if you vote yes, it's not just the mother making that choice for that violence. You're saying it's okay to do that. I accept that. I don't think they should be protected against violence. I think they should have legal immunity for committing violence against particular people. So if you can live with that, may God have mercy on your soul. And may America come to the place where we will think that is abhorrent. I have faith with it. We'll get there one day. And it's unfortunate that we are not there yet. That's what I would like someone to say on a national platform. That's what I would like. Because it's the truth. Instead of tiptoeing and be like, oh, I have to make a deal. Okay. The Whigs thought so too. Anyway, thank you for that. Really quickly, let me go through this story. My sister sent this to me. It's a wild story, man. And this is from the Not the Bee, which is the Babylon Bee, but when they actually tell real stories. This is so wild, though. Nashville band says singer secretly dosed bassist with estrogen in attempt to steal his girl, causing severe medical issues. Mind you, estrogen causes severe medical issues in men. Hardcore singer accused of dosing bandmate with estrogen in attempt to steal his fiance. Okay, so a small-time hardcore band has skyrocketed to viral fame in one of the most unexpected ways possible, a hormone attack. The singer of a Nashville-based punk band, Leorona, has allegedly been secretly dosing his bandmate with estrogen in hopes of winning over his fiance. The band took to Instagram, which doesn't seem to be active anymore, but don't worry, there are screenshots to explain the band drama, alleging that the vocalist Diego tried to force a transition on his friend by spiking his pre-workout drinks with a female hormone. We have decided to part ways with our vocalist Diego due to the admission of a very disturbing and concerning behavior towards one of our band members and their partner. He has admitted to being obsessed and said the partner and with said partner and has been attempting to sabotage the relationship by cutting pre-workout that he frequently gifts from his job with high amounts of estrogen in them. He has been attempting to force a transition. Oh no. I said oh no because my pages kind of froze up on me. Let me finish reading this from my phone. This is a wild story. I just I can't imagine any of this. Um it's so weird. Okay, we have decided to part ways with our vocalist Diego due to admission to very disturbing and concerning behaviors towards one of our band members and their partners. He has admitted to being obsessed with said partner and has been attempting to sabotage their relationship by cutting pre-workout that he frequently gifts his job with high amounts of estrogen in them. He has been attempting to force a transition onto him for 5 months in the hopes that it would give him the opportunity to swoop in once he looks stronger and more manly in comparison. After a hardcore music account posted it on X, the post went viral, garnering millions of views and over 100,000 likes. Apparently, the singer confessed to it all after a few too many drinks one night. According to the band's post, he then admitted it again over text. I am sorry, I really can't help but laugh. But seriously, this guy got really messed up from the hormones. The hormone spike drinks the victim, named Six, was drinking for months. It caused him health problems, confusion, and panic. He spent thousands in medical bills trying to figure out what the heck was going on with him. I've had physical changes from hormones besides stomach ulcers, weight loss, and muscle fatigue that I will not get into, as well as notable mental changes. He will not pass off what he admitted to as a joke or confusion, even in his state of drunkenness. What he did is disgusting and has had an immense negative effect on my life. Um, I hope they do like legal stuff. That is crazy. But see how terrible estrogen can be for a dude. The Instagram page has also dropped some screenshots that look like Diego trying to say sorry for his wild scheme. I was really drunk and told Six and his fiance for 5 months. That's not a, you can't just apologize for something you've been doing for 5 months. I was really drunk and told Six and his fiance I was obsessed with her and had a deep hatred for Six and gave Six estrogen to get an edge up on him. I've been kicked out of Irona as well and will no longer be in the scene. He needs to go to jail. He needs to go to jail for that, dudes. you can't he poisoned him. He poisoned him. So no, you can't just apologize for poisoning for someone for 5 months with estrogen. But it does go to show you the effects that can have on somebody's body. And you can say, well, they're consenting to it. Perhaps, but we have medical professionals that are not doing the best as far as people's care. They are not adhering to do no harm. They're adhering to ideology and cash, so much cash. So once big lawsuits really start hitting these folks, they'll start changing their tune. That's why there's panic with the IVF stuff, because they're like, okay, with the case in Alabama, they're like, okay, well, these parents can't sue because their embryos were destroyed from negligence that they allowed to happen. And everyone's like, whoa, wait a second. And it's like, yeah, why shouldn't they be able to do that? They're like, well, if you're going to be considering that it's possible for wrongful death, we can consider them as children. Like, this could ruin the IVF industry. I'm like, well, something must be wrong with the IVF industry then. If you guys are that worried about parents being able to hold big business accountable, okay. But they're worried about lawsuits and other things coming in. So if that can affect them, and now they're scrambling trying to get Alabama to change the laws and other stuff like that, and Republicans are panicked because with election, and they're, instead of just explaining thoroughly what happened, they're just, I don't know, seems like they're rolling over with this. But people, these medical industries will get upset when they can be legally liable for harm that's caused to different people. So if people like Chloe Cole and other folks continue to sue, for harm with this, when they detransition and they're like, y'all really messed up my bodies and stuff, and this was not real medical care, and you guys were not acting like real doctors. I don't know what's on the papers or whatever that they sign when they start taking that stuff, but once they start suing some people and winning, a lot of the stuff will be knocked off. But that we got to get to that point. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Someone's watching from Scotland. Hello. that was not that hello was not meant to be Scottish. That was not an accent. That was it was definitely not good. Anyway, if it was meant to be, I just wanted to clarify. Yeah, you just never know who might pop in. Oh, they said it was good. Okay. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Once again, I'd like to mention oh, we got some California, you poor baby. We got Scotland here. We got California. Oof. Good luck to you. Good luck to you in California. Oh, female from Scotland. Okay. This weekend, my church is having our like anniversary for like the church, and tonight we have a special guest speaker I've known for years. He actually spoke at our ordination. Well, why? Because I got ordained with my sister, so Fonzo Smith. So he's a great preacher, and so I'm excited for that tonight. So I'm gonna have a good weekend. I'll have a busy weekend. I might be a little tired when you see me on Monday, but on tomorrow we have our event with the gala. It's a worship gala is what we're calling it, but we're raising money for pro-life, for pregnancy crisis centers. So in last year in June, it was my youngest sister's idea. Her birthday is the same day that Roe v. Wade was overturned, so she wanted to, make a fundraiser for pregnancy crisis centers, and so the church got together and donated a bunch of things for them. So we're going to do the same, and so we're also going to be raising money for that would go toward the things that we would also buy. People still donate things and stuff, but this will help with that. So the proceeds will go toward that. Toward that pregnancy crisis center stuff. So there will be music, there will be food, and there shall be comedy as well. So we'll have a really good time. If you are in the Michigan area, again, and you would like to go, you can purchase a ticket. I have the information posted on my Facebook and my YouTube. If you cannot go, but you would like to support, you guys can donate. And so if you can, I ask that you go ahead and you do that, and I appreciate if you can. But we should have a good time. And then on Sunday, of course we'll have church, and my brother's preaching, so we'll have a good old time this weekend. Very, very busy, but hope you guys are safe this weekend, and enjoy yourselves. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Yeah, have a good weekend. Make sure you guys go to the website, check out articles, videos, etc. that I have on the site, different merch. If you're going to be home, just kind of, and you need something to do, you guys can check out my different books that I have available on the website. I have my book, of course, God's Blatantly Against Abortion. It's one of my 2 nonfiction books that you guys can check out. And there's that. My other nonfiction book is Slay Your Fear, How to Overcome a Spirit of Fear, which I wrote inspired because of how crazy people were acting because of COVID. It's not specifically about COVID, but that's how I got that inspiration there. And then all my other books are fiction, and I have 17 altogether. So the 2 nonfiction, 15. I mean, two are nonfiction, 2, and the rest are fiction. All my fiction books, all my books you get in paperback or ebook on Amazon. You can get all my fiction books on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have a subscription to that, you guys can get that. I also learned that if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free ebook every month. So, I'm assuming that, they would still pay me and stuff for that book, but you guys can check that out if you got Amazon Prime. But yeah, if you want to learn more, you guys can just search my name on Amazon. But there's a banner on my website. If you go to the merchandise page, that will take you over to my book website where you can learn more. So I thank you guys. Appreciate you. And I'll see you on Monday. God bless.